many of us here today have planned their lives to take one specific direction and have found themselves 10 years later in a completely different place? I believe plenty, and I'm actually one of those people. 7 years ago, a friend of mine introduced me to a group of people who at the time were studying abroad and came to Jerusalem wanting to do something about the conflict back home. One of those people was actually a student at MIT, the renowned Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and had taught computer science at a program for MIT in Africa. And he, with the rest of the group, thought that we might be able to do something similar for Israeli and Palestinian youth. And why not start with East and West Jerusalem? And since we all believed in education as a powerful tool to mobilize positive change, we started during that summer of 2004 a program called MEET, which stands for Middle East Education Through Technology. Partnering with CISO, the Computer Science Artificial Intelligence Lab at MIT, we recruited 3 instructors. The Hebrew University provided us with the facilities, and we had our first ever class of 30 students, half Palestinians and half Israelis, take this very intensive 5-week course in computer science, teamwork, and leadership. Those 5 weeks went by so fast, and surprisingly, they were a big success. The students and their parents loved it. They interviewed to the press being all emotional, and at that very last day, they all parted in tears. During the next few years, and driven by this success and by our genuine willingness to create something different and unique and have a real impact, that has a real impact, we worked very hard with very little resources to expand the program and bring new students. So we extended the duration, added a year-long component, we added the business curriculum, all sorts of outdoor training and entrepreneurial competitions. But I believe that what really shaped the future of MEET was the fact that we had this awareness that when you work in social change of any sort, you need to question yourself all the time whether you're doing the right thing or not. So, for example, we developed this beautiful educational model, and we didn't want to touch politics. We wanted to stay away from this monster called politics and never cause any distress to our cute students. But with continuous dialogue with the students themselves, we started realizing that there is something wrong. But one student, one time, one Israeli student, actually came to me and asked me why the bus coming from Bethlehem is always late. And it struck me that this student has had no idea what a Palestinian student needs to go through in order to come to the program. And we started to realize that we're missing out on a big opportunity here to connect those talented students to their reality and to break this separation. Because we Palestinians and Israelis are not only separated physically by a wall or by a checkpoint, we are also separated virtually by the information we receive and perceive, which is mostly selective, outdated, and superficial. And as a result, our societies live in a closed system. And history has proven time and time again that closed systems do not survive. And if we really wanted to develop proper leaders, we had to have this understanding that the goal of exercising leadership is to engage with reality, with what is real, what is true, what will affect our lives, whether we like it or not. So we had to add this big new component called deeper understanding, allowing the students the space and the time to share, to talk about culture, identity, their fears, the politics, and about the conflict itself. Many more, even harder questions emerged, especially with the occurrence with difficult political situations. For one example is 2 years ago, during the difficult incidents in Gaza, I was visiting one of MEET's co-founders, actually, in Herzliya. And sitting in that mall, I saw a group of beautiful kids playing with a clown, and I've just come home from watching images of kids in Gaza being killed. And I asked myself, is it okay to hold such meetings when there is such imbalance and suffering. And then I think about it. If meat ceased to exist, then what individuals will have the understanding and the capabilities to make this reality change? And we think some more about it. And then we realize that we can't do this level of understanding if we were only work with the students for a few weeks or a few months. We needed to work with the students for over a long period of time to allow them the chance to formulate their own questions, recognize their responsibility, and develop the confidence to do something about it. Many other questions came up as we moved along, but we understood that a big part of learning is actually unlearning, and that we needed to be brave enough to differentiate between this perceived success at the beginning, that we had at the beginning, and what real success actually means. And this has become a real value in the way we look at the program. Today, MEET is a successful nonprofit organization based in Jerusalem. MEET focuses on trying to identify potential young leaders from both sides of the divide and brings them together for a 3-year top-level educational program in computer science, business skills, entrepreneurship, and leadership. The model is based on providing those talented students with skills and tools from the 21st century through a professional and challenging platform of interaction and empowerment that's trying to break this closed system we all live in, develop a network of potential leaders, of future leaders, that have a real that are connected to the reality of the region within the perspective of today's global environment, and who are able to think critically, question the status quo, and deal, manage, and influence change. From working with just a few schools in Jerusalem, MEET has grown to work with 35 high schools across 5 Palestinian and Israeli cities, with 100 students and 15 MIT instructors every year. One of our major achievements was the demand on the program. We receive every year above 500 applicants, competing for 40 places for the incoming class. And the biggest component of the applicants are actually Palestinian girls. The retention rates have been incredibly high, reaching up to 85% from the start until the graduation, which is quite a commitment for youth at that age, from 15 to 17. And lastly, our alumni's achievements now, especially after 7 years, their achievements later in their lives and their willingness to come back and offer help and volunteer in the program is what's driving the future growth of MEET in our attempt to create a different kind of platform, allowing this time the alumni to come back to their communities and be the drivers for change and prosperity, whether economically, socially, or politically. 7 years ago, I was a chemistry graduate, thinking of becoming a scientist of some sort, not to undermine scientists, but that mere encounter with the group of people that founded MEET, and all the challenges that we faced along the way, and also later working with the students and the instructors had changed my life. And the hard work, the commitment, the dedication of each and every member of the MEET family, and there are a lot of them out there today, have been inspirational and have helped me realize my true potential and understand and appreciate the importance and the power of those special encounters we have in our lives. I actually had a lot of pictures I wanted to share with you, pictures of students working in the lab, or building a raft together, or actually giving a professional presentation in front of 300 people. But I also have a different kind of pictures in my mind's eye, not of past incidents, of today as we speak. I have pictures of concrete walls dividing neighborhoods, of checkpoints creating suffocating traffic and humiliating experiences, and of an ugly metal gate closing an opening in the wall, which is the way to Bethlehem, so preventing me from entering my own hometown. This last Sunday. So I decided I wanted to wait, maybe 5 years, 10 years, maybe a little more, and to show pictures of MEET alumni actually taking action in their communities and helping improve lives and bringing back dignity and real justice. Because true success will occur only when those brilliant alumni will take this special and profound educational experience and actually make this region a far better place. Thank you.